Hello student, myself Vandana. Today we see about system programming. So first we see about what is mean by system. System is considered as a computer system or we say it's a electronic machine. And what is mean by program? Program is nothing but a set of instructions which are write for a specific purpose. Now what is mean by system programming? Now, before going to system programming, we consider about the only programming part. Now, as I say that program is what? A set of instruction is known as a program. Now, the collection of program is known as a software. What I say? The collection of program is known as a software. Now, basically, when we are considering the software, software is divided into two types. The software is divided into two types. The first type is as a system software and second type is considered as a application software. Now, first we see about what is mean by system software. So, before going to software, we see about what is mean by system program. As I say that generally program is known as a set of instruction only. And what is mean by system program? Suppose we want to execute our program, then it's a job of system program which helps to execute user program effectively and efficiently on a computer system. So that is known as a system program. Now when we are considering about which are the system program, if suppose we want to write one program in a C language, then is C language is directly understood to computer? No. Is you are giving instruction directly to computer? No. So firstly you have to write that instruction in a particular way and then that instruction is supplied to computer. Then what is the proper way to supply instruction to the computer? The first way is we are using a editor. Means we have to give some input and that input is supplied in the form of editor by using a editor only. Means on a editor, by using editor we write our program and after that program is given to the computer system for execution purpose. Now we are giving instruction on the computer system by using editor. Okay. Is that instruction is directly understood to computer? No. Is computer understand English language? No. Is computer understand Marathi language? No. The computer system is understand only a machine language which is in the form of 0 and 1 only. Means we say that computer is understand only a binary language. Means 0 and 1 form language which is known as a machine language. So who perform this execution? We are supplying our instruction in a high level language or middle level language. Then it's a job of system program to convert that high level language program or middle level language program into the machine executable form, means into the machine language. So that job is performed by the system program. Or we say it's a system software because this all activity that we want which needed for executing our program is done by using the system software. Means in this way, by using the system program we can convert our own program to the computer understandable form. And what is mean by application program? As the name will suggest that application program means the program written for specific application only or a program written for specific purpose only. For example, consider that the railway reservation system. Now the railway reservation system is designed for a specific purpose only for reservation of railway ticket, to cancel the railway ticket and means all the related activities which are performed on railway reservation. Another example is library system, our college library system. Again it's an application program. Why? Because it is designed for only to issue the books, also to purchase the books, also to keeping the record about the books which are presently available in our library. Means in this way, application program is different from the system program. Up to now, we see about system software and application software. Then, suppose we have to execute one program on a computer system. Is computer system directly understand that program? No, because computer system understand only the machine level language program. So there is a need to convert that program into a machine level language program. And then that job, that converting job is to translate one language into another language is done by using a language processor. That done by using a language processor. There are various language processors are there. We say that language translator, which translate one language into another language. For example, compiler, interpreter, assembler. These are nothing but an example of language translator. And what is the job of compiler? The compiler takes the high level language program as an input and convert that program into the machine level language program, which is in the form of 0 and 1. This is the job of language translator. Now, suppose if we have to design a system, we are the designer of one system as railway reservation system or airline reservation system. Then it is far easier to give this computation in the form of data and entities only. This is known as a application domain. So when we are considering only the designer, we have to give only which are the data, means in how way the data is get applied there. Then after that, which are the various operations perform on that data. Like we are querying that data, we are cancelling that ticket, otherwise we are booking that ticket. This operation, this computational operation is specified by using in application domain. Now, when the designer think about this application, it's not worry about how to execute that program on a computer system. So that should be done by using the execution domain. Means here we say that the application domain gives the specification and execution domain gives the execution of that program. And the gap between this specification and execution domain is known as a semantic gap. The gap between application domain and execution domain is known as a semantic gap. Now, what is meant by semantic gap here? Now, here we say that semantic means a rule for that particular domain. Semantic means what? The rules for that particular domain. Means when we are supplying this application domain data, then we are giving entities, otherwise we say we are giving data in a oval form, in a oval, or we are supplying the operation in a rectangle box. These are nothing but the rules that we are applying for a particular domain. And in the same way, when we are using the execution domain, there are certain ways to execute that program, and that rules are applied here. Which symbol table is used, which register is used to store that data. Means depending upon that domain, a particular semantic rules are used there. Now, as I say that if we have to give as input as a program to that system, then we have to give some input as a program to that system. Means we have to specify our specification to the computer system. Then how we are giving that specification? We are giving that specification by using a certain programming language. How we are giving that specification to the computer system? By using a specific programming language or by using any particular programming language. That language may be language C language, C++ language, Java language, PHP language, anyone. Means when we are considering here the application domain and execution domain, the specification is given to the programming language and then that program will execute it in a execution domain. In between this application domain and execution domain, one new domain is created which is known as a programming domain. And when we are considering this programming domain, again this programming means any programming language has its own syntax, its own data structure, with its own function or its own libraries which are used to execute we say that this programming language has its own data structure, or we say its own function. Now we say that the gap between the application domain and execution domain as a semantic gap. Now between this domain, one new domain is introduced, which is a programming domain, and then this semantic gap is divided into two parts. The first part becomes the specification gap. This gap is known as the specification gap. The gap between, otherwise I will write here, the gap between the application domain and programming language domain is known as the specification gap. And the gap between the programming domain and execution domain is known as the execution gap. Okay? Means up to now you all are clear. Means here we say that three different domains are there. In an application domain, the designer specify its requirement by using a particular semantics, and then that specification is given to a programming domain for the construction of that program, and after that that program is given for the execution domain to execute that program. And the gap between these means the gap between the application domain and execution domain is known as a semantic gap. When we are introducing this new domain, programming domain, then this semantic gap is divided into specification gap and execution gap. Now it's our job to reduce this gap, to build a good software or to build a good system. Now how we are reducing this specification gap and execution gap? Now what is the who does this? Who does this? Then specification gap. How we say that the specification gap is there? Means the designer supplies its requirement, and when that requirement does not carry all the suggestions given by designer to the programmer, then that is known as a specification gap. We have to reduce this gap, and then that programming language domain, this programming domain, that program is given for the execution. Now here this gap is known as a execution gap. So who is reduce this gap, or how we reduce this gap? So by using the software engineering concept, we can reduce this gap. The first, specification gap. The specification gap is reduced by using the specification followed by the coding step of the software engineering, and the execution gap is reduced by using the coding step. Means when we are using a proper specification and coding, then your specification gap is reduced, and by using the execution and by reducing the execution gap, we are using a good trainer, means we are using a good programmer, and though our execution gap will get reduced. Now we go for three different domains: application domain, programming domain, and the execution domain. Now we turn on for language processor, means kinds of language processor. Now when the language processor, or this is language translator, translate one language into another language, at that time also it will point out the error if any error is present in the input which are given. Now this property of this language translator is known as a diagnostic capability. Is known as a diagnostic capability because it points out the error which are present in the input. Now which are the various kinds of language processor? Compiler, interpreter, cross translator, detranslator, these are nothing but kinds of language processor. So first we see about compiler. So what is the job of compiler? The compiler convert the high level language into low level language program, means into the machine level language program with generating a machine language code. With generating a machine language code. And what is meant by interpreter? Interpreter is also convert the source program which is given in the form of of middle level language or high level language into the machine level language, but it converts that program by statement without generating the machine code. And next one becomes cross translator. What is meant by cross translator? Cross translator bridges the execution gap as it's executed on one machine, but without executing itself on that same machine, it is executed on another machine. Suppose by simplifying this, take the example of washing machine. In a washing machine, is washing machine operated directly itself? Yes, but we have to give some input there. So that programming is known as a cross translator type. Means the program is executed on one machine and that run on the another machine. That is known as a cross translator. And detranslator. What is meant by detranslator? Detranslator works in an opposite manner as like translator. Preprocessor. Preprocessor, these are nothing but libraries we are given, and then that we have to use in our programming. Preprocessor does not translate our program, only it provides some execution facility. Means if we are considering the C language program, then we have to include include stdio.h header file. Then why we are including that header file? Because we are using the printf and scanf function in our program, and then that definition of that function is given into the header file stdio.h header file. So we have to include that header file, because when you are including that statement #include stdio.h in your program, then at the time of loading your program, the loader connect that header file, means connect that library file, that preprocessor library into your program. Then next one becomes a language migrator. The language migrator bridges the specification gap between two programming language. The language migrator bridges the specification gap between language processor. The language processor is a software that bridges the gap between the specification gap and execution gap. Now here the language processor bridges the specification gap and execution gap by using two activities, by performing two activities: program generation and program translation model. So first we see about program generation. Now the designer supply its specification, and then that specification is taken to design that program, but that program is designed by using any particular programming language. Means that specification, that program specification is given to the program generator. With the help of any programming language, it will generate the target program. And if there are some error, then that error will be get displayed here. And after that, the second one becomes program translation model. As we say that the computer system does not understand the high level language or low level language. It understands only machine language. So there is a need to translate that program, and it's a job of language translator, which translate the high level language program into low level language program. This here our source program, which is your high level language program or middle level language program, is given to the translator. Translator means what? Your language translator. The language translator translates your source program into the machine language program. And if there are some error in this program, then before translating that program into machine language program, it shows that error. And if your source program is error free, then it will translate your program into the machine level language program, and depending upon the given input data, it will generate your target program. In this way, the language translator work in these two activities as program generation and program translation model.